Welcome back, fellow data enthusiasts. Today, we have an exciting topic to explore together: how to supercharge your pandas with AI. If you have been wondering how to take your data manipulation skills to the next level, you are in for a treat. I'm Yusuf, and today we will be exploring how to use AI with your pandas. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Pandas is a powerful library in Python for data manipulation and analysis. It is widely used by data analysts, data scientists, and developers worldwide. But what if we could give Pandas a turbo boost using the marvels of artificial intelligence? That's right. Today, we are going to be showing you incredible ways to supercharge your Pandas using AI. Buckle up because we are about to unleash the full potential of your data. The code will be divided into two parts. The first part will be where we'll be creating a dummy data set, while the second part will be where we'll be supercharging the data with AI. Now, so the first part of creating a dummy data set, we are looking to have a simple scenario where you have multiple outlets. In these outlets, you have a product which are being sold at a particular price and a number of units, so you can have a total sales. Then once we have a data set, we can now use the AI to supercharge it. So for us to be able to do that, we need to first install some packages. So I'm going to be installing so this part is going to be for creating a dummy data set. Okay, I'm going to delete this. So now we need to install Pandas, and then we need to install NumPy. So these two guys will help us to create our dummy data set. So we just need to have the logic in place so we can ultimately create a data set. So once that is done, we just do import pandas as PD, import NumPy as NP. Then we need to randomize some stuff. So from random, we are going to import choices. So once these are imported, we need to set a seed for reproducibility. So each time we run our randomization, we keep getting the same value over and over again. So np.random.seed, I don't know, maybe 10, doesn't matter what you set. So once you just set a number, whatever it is you are randomizing is going to be within that particular frame. It's not going to change until you change the seed or you maybe restart your terminal. Okay. So we are going to need a number of records. So we are going to have a number of records that we want to produce. I'm going to say 1000. The number of outlets that we are looking at is going to be, let's say, 10. We could have up to 15, well, as many as possible, but let's say 10 for now. And for the number of products, let's say we have 20 products in each outlet. So once these are set, we have constants, which are not likely going to be changing. So for the dates that we are going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at a quarter. Let's say 2 quarters. Originally, I was thinking of a quarter, but let's say 2 quarters, which is going to be January to June, January to March, and then March, April to June. So our date is going to be pd.dateRange. The date range is going to start from 2023. It's going to be start. It's going to be 2023 0101, and the end date is going to be 2023 June 30 06 30. Now, once we have our dates, you can easily see the dates, and you can see that they start from January 1st to June 30th. But if you look at this, the length of this date is 1 hour 81. That's for the 6 months. However, our number of records is 1000. So we want to randomize this date so we can have and reproduce them as many times as possible, up to 1000. So to do that, we are going to need dates uh, to be overwritten by choices. So we have the dates, but we have a constant called num records. So this is going to allow us, not date, is date. So this is going to allow us to have 1000, the number of constants that we have here is going to have each is going to randomize this and pick them in random order so we can have 1000 records in our case. So if you check this again, we have 1000 records. So if you want to look at what it looks like, so for each of the timestamp, you can see the dates and the frequency. Everything is here. So everything is going to start from January to June. All right, so that is out of the way. So we need to do the same for our outlets as well as the products that we're going to be working with. Outlets is going to be an outlet of range in the range. So we have for I in range of number of outlets, actually. Yeah. So this is going to give us the number of outlets that we have. However, if you are working with range, the last number is exclusive in the output. So for us to work with that, we need to have I plus 1. So if we are looking at 10 records, it's going to be from 0 to 9, if that makes sense, the range. So I plus 1 is going to increase the index from 0 to 1, then from 9 to 10. So we have a range of 1 to 10. But for us to get that, we are going to convert this to a string because we want to concatenate with outlet. So we can have outlet 1, outlet 2, outlet 3, up to 10, something like that. Then we're going to randomize this again using the same choices. So we have outlets, and then the number of records is going to be num records. So perfect. So let's double check this. The length of our outlets is 1000. Perfect. So we do the same for products. So we have product and then str I plus 1. Then for I in range of num product, isn't it? Then product equals to choices. Then we have products, and then the case goes to num records. All right. And if we double check this also, how many products do we have there? 1000. So if we want to see what it looks like, so this is how it looks, what it looks like. So for each of them, it's going to randomize them, just pick randomly until we have a constant of 1000 records. The same thing with the outlet. I'm not sure we checked that before. So we have the same thing for the outlet. Perfect. So our outlet is ready, our product is ready. So we need to get the units that are sold and probably the prices they are sold for. So the units sold is we are going to set that with round int, which is going to be between maybe 1 and 100. I don't know, or maybe 200. I don't know. You can choose anything. Then for each of that, we are going to generate 1000 records. The same thing for the prices. No, prices is going to be price per unit. So because we want to individually set the units of each of the products, so we are going to have random dot uniform because we want to have a uniform distribution between maybe say 10 and 500. So the prices was going to be between a low of 10, the minimum price is 10, and the highest price is going to be 100. And by the way, this is going to be in decimal places, so it doesn't have to be maybe integer. So I just want to have a uniform distribution between that. So we have num records. That's the size. All right. So at the end of the day, if we check units sold, we have something like that. And then for the price per unit, we have, yeah, the decimal point. Excellent. So our total sales is going to be the multiplication of the units sold multiplied by the price per unit. So once we have that, we can check. We know this is going to give us the right record. Yeah, if you look at the size, we have 1000 records for the total sales. So that's perfect. Now, the only thing that is left for us to do is to put this in a data frame so it's nicely presented. So we have PD, that's our pandas data frame. Then we set the series and index, which is going to be the date. It's going to be date, the outlet is going to be outlets. The product is going to be maybe not outlets. We just use outlet. Yeah, products. Units sold. Units sold. And price per unit. Unit is going to be price per unit. Okay. Then lastly, we have total sales. Okay. Total sales. Excellent. So our data frame is ready. We can preview it. Yeah. So we have a nicely presented data, which is 1000 by 6 column. And we have for each of them, in each of the outlets, we have 20 products. Yeah. And these are the units sold, and these are the prices and the total sales for each product. Now, the second part where we bring in the AI is when we are using this library. So we are going to be using this library called PandasAI. PandasAI is a Python library that enhances pandas with generative AI capabilities. But this project is still under active development. It is possible that your queries might not give you 100% correct response. Sometimes it might not recognize the question, so you might need to fine tune the question so it's a little bit more descriptive, and you need to work on the prompt. So the prompt is going to be, this is where you need to work on how you word your prompt. So if you have a good prompt, you have a good response. If your prompt is a little bit not so good, you are not going to have the right response. And I'm going to show you a simple example of how that works in a little bit. But for you to continue, you need to get the secret key from OpenAI. So you can get it from your user settings. So you can go to platformopenai.com/account/API keys. Once you sign in, it's going to take you directly to your section, and then you can get your keys there. Or you can just come to this page and click on this is beta.openai.com. Whatever it is, you can just get your keys from there. Once you have your keys, I'm going to set my keys privately so you don't see my keys. You might just see that I have my keys. I'm going to put it in a particular variable. I'll call it OpenAI API key. So you'll see your key here, but I'm going to be setting my key in that particular variable. Once that is set, once you've set your key in your OpenAI API key, I have done that. So you might not see, but in this variable, I have my key. So what you need to do is now bring in your Pandas AI. So I'm going to be installing Pandas AI. So once that is done, we can proceed with the import. So we do an import, import PandasAI from PandasAI import PandasAI. So we import the class for the PandasAI. Then from this particular library PandasAI, there is a particular API called LLM, and it has access to the OpenAI. So I'm going to be importing OpenAI. Now, once that is done, I'm going to set my LLM OpenAI to the API token. I'm going to be initializing it with the API token so we can have access to the OpenAI API token. Then I'm going to wire this up with the Pandas AI. It's going to be Pandas AI. I'm going to be initializing it with LLM. So technically, LLM has my OpenAI AI key, which is the interface from OpenAI. So I'm going to be wiring that with the class from the Pandas AI, and I'm going to be having the object so I can run my queries directly against the Pandas AI. Now, two things. Pandas AI is going to be taking two arguments. You can set multiple arguments, but for now, we're going to limit it to two. One is the data frame you want to work with, and then the queries you want to pass to it. So for example, this is our data frame. This is inside in our df variable. So if you want to work with this particular data frame, we need to run pandas AI dot run. Don't forget, this is just a variable that I name. You can name it anything, so you don't have to worry so much about that. Just for easy sake, we have a data frame, then the prompt. So you can set different parameters, but we are going to be limiting to this data frame and the prompt itself. So the data frame is the df. By the way, you can have multiple data frame, so you can pass in a list, which is going to be maybe df1, df2, as many data frames you want, but we are going to be limiting to just a single data frame. Now, our prompt, what will be our first prompt? Once you have our data frame, we might want to look at what we have the total sales here. We might want to look at the total sales. So we can say which product has the highest total sales. Which product has the highest total sales? So this is going to run it, and it's going to tell us, oh, product 19. Okay. So technically this is a text, so we can see the outputs. If you look at with this, if you want to reuse this particular response in maybe in a workflow, you can say highest product is equals to that, and you can get your response in highest product. So if you check the type of highest product, in our case highest product, it's going to be a string. So if you check it out, highest product is product 19. So it's a string, so you can reuse this, so you don't have to maybe worry about the output from this guy. So once you get the output, you can put it in a particular variable and you continue maybe using it in a particular workflow. Doesn't really matter how you use it, but I think you get the point. So now let's say we want to convert price per unit and total sales to two decimal places. We can say pandas AI dot run, and then we pass in the data frame. If you look at our data frame here, in here, this is our data frame. We have this data frame. So let's say we want to convert, or we want to format this price per unit and total sales to two decimal places. We can say format price per unit and total sales to two decimal places. Now, if you check our data frame, we are expecting to see these two guys as expected. So they have been converted to 2 decimal places. The same thing if you use maybe convert, this is where your prompting is very important. So if you use convert or format, you have some activity, so you might need to double check that, how to word your prompt a little bit. Yeah, so let's go for chatting. If we want to add to do some chatting, if you want to display some charts, we have, okay, let's look at this. We have different ways of wording this prompt. So if you word your prompt as the most profitable product, let's look at it. So let's say we have our highest product here. Our highest product, this is the highest total sales, right? Which is product 19. Now, if you word your question as Pandas AI, let me give you an example. If you word dot run and then you say what is the most, okay, which product is the most profitable? Okay, if you look at the profitable does not necessarily mean the highest sales, right? So even though you have a product that has the highest total sales, it may be that the highest, maybe it has the lowest price but highest quantity sold, or highest quantity sold, highest price. So you might need to be very careful when you are wording your prompt in terms of which one is the highest total sales and which product is the most profitable or something like that. So they may not give you exactly the same result. But anyways, so let's go for our chatting. So let's say PandasAI.run df. If we want to plot the chart of the product based on total sales, okay, this is supposed to give us a nice bar chart. Okay, so this is messed up because we have 20 products. All right, so let's do something. Let's reduce the number of products to 5 instead of 20, so we can have some nicely printed outputs. Okay, so let's go back in here. So we are going to have to rerun this. Which product? Yeah, product 3 has the highest total sales, and yeah, we might need to format this again to 2 decimal places. And if you check it out, we have this. Okay, now if you rerun this to plot the chart of the product based on total sales, so it's plotting the total sales for the 6 months. Okay, so this is messed up. It's not as clear as she should be, but let's say for the first 3 months, that's the first quarter. All right, so this gives us the total sales of product in the first 3 months. So it says product 2 has the highest sales, and if you look at the most profitable product, it has the product 3 has the highest total sales overall. So if you want to check the highest total sales, so we can validate this in the first 3 months. You see product 2 has the highest total sales in the first 3 months according to this chart. So let's see which product has the highest total sales in the first 3 months directly. yeah, product 2 has the highest total sales, and if you look at it, it has the highest total sales from there. So that makes sense. So we validated that our chart is fine. So let's say we want to run another type of chart, which is bar chart, but we have pandas df, and then let's say plot the bar chart of the product based on the monthly sales. Okay, so I'm expecting to see each month then the sales of the product in each month being presented to us. So you can see in the first month, the second month, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth month, and you can see the product. So you don't have to worry so much about writing the queries manually. You can just put this in your, if your data set is not as big, so you don't experience some slowness. So you can just put the query there, and then it gets you a nicely presented output. Now let's look at maybe pie chart. So for pie chart, we are going to maybe do the same. PandasAI.run df, and then let's say plot the pie chart of the overall product sales. So this is going to give us a total of each product across the 6 months and give us the most profitable product for the 6 months duration. So from all indications, product 3 is the most profitable product in the 6 months, followed by product 5, product 2, 4, and then product 1. So those are the most profitable products in the overall products. I mean, in the first two quarters. So you can do the same for the first quarter. So the first quarter. Then maybe you can do the same for the second quarter. And you can see the product that performed best in the first quarter and the second quarter. So the first quarter, you have product 2 performing the best. Then in the second quarter, you have product 5 performing way better. Yeah, so that's the dynamics, and you have the Q1, Q2. So you can always fine tune this to get more complex queries. So for more information about what you can do and maybe the capabilities, you can look at the documentation. You can see some nicely to some examples and how you can work on the prompt, how you can get some output from there, and yeah, so that kind of sums it up. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section, and I'm going to try my best to respond to them. You can look into the body of the description where you can see the links to the PandasAI documentation, and then the OpenAI is where to get your API keys from OpenAI. So please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you very much, and see you next time.